know when it's a new season, there's new dribble moves. So today we're gonna test those out and tell you some of the best dribble moves you can use on the game, no matter if you got a high ball control, a low ball control, a small guard, a big guard, even from my lockdowns to even my 6'10s and 7-footers. No matter your play style, if you like to play realistic or even if you like to play arcade, there will be animations in today's video that will help you end up dribbling, create space, and get a bucket. And before we get into the new dribble moves, we gotta go to our controller settings, which is very important, especially when it comes to dribbling. You're gonna make sure your pro stick function is on default. Please make sure this is on default when you dribbling, for you can be able to do every dribble move possible when it comes to hop jumpers and things like that. Then for your passive dribble hand switch, make sure you disable this. This will make you switch your ball hand even if you stop for a half a second. So if you haven't yet, make sure y'all boys drop a like on this video, make sure y'all boys subscribe, and let's get into the new dribble moves of the new season. Now we're gonna first have D'Angelo Russell's crossover, which you have to be under 6'10", so anybody that's 5'9" all the way to 6'9", you can use this with having a 75 ball hand. Let's see what this crossover talking about. Okay. It's similar to like a Lonzo crossover, but it's a little bit slower. It don't have that push. It's decent. It got the drop cross, but it's not a push. Because when you use Lonzo, it pulls you forward. With this one, it just gets you to the left or the right just slightly. I'm gonna have to rate this. Let me see. I'm gonna rate this like a B. I'll give it a B. For return and step back, we have Zach LaVine, which you would have to be under 6'10", so anybody from 5'9" all the way to 6'8", because 6'8" is the tallest height you can be with having an 85 ball handle, so you can't get this on a 6'9" build. So let's try this move and step back. All right, I'm supposed to be getting a good snatch. It feel like, hold on. It's basically literally pro, a less exaggerated pro. If you've seen pro step back, this is a less exaggerated pro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me see. Okay, that's the move and snatch. Ooh, hold on. No, I like that. Now that might be the best actual move and step back when you go left to right. Let me see. That might be one. I'm gonna have to rate this a C, C-. And for our next new animation, we have a go-to shot, which is Derek White, and you have to be under 6'5" while having an 82 mid-range to even use this animation. Let's see what Derek White talking about. Okay, that's off the dribble to the right hand. That's off the triple threat. I don't know about the timing. It's staying early. I might have to rhythm it. Okay. Okay, hold on. Off the triple threat. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. It might be cool for the minute. It's not gonna create a lot of space. That's one thing. It could be a setup move, but a rare case it's not gonna be used. I would rate this a D+. D+ or D, I'm gonna be honest to you. It's not worth it. Now we're gonna get to the best go-to shots you can use in the game. One of my favorite go-to shots is Darius Garland. If you don't know about Darius Garland, if you're a small guard, all you gotta do is have an 84 mid-range, and it creates a lot of space. And you can really get crazy combos. Now the next one is Bryce Cinnaball. You can use this on any build between 6'5" to 6'9" that requires a 79 shooter rating, which is actually great to try to get to the hole. You can get ankle breakers and blow-bys off this actual go-to. The next one, you're gonna have Jordan Poole. Now with Jordan Poole, you can get bumped. You gotta have a 76 shooting rating, but the thing is, it's a shifty animation. The next one we're gonna have is Macau. This one is right here. You gotta have an 80 shooting rating, but it's very similar to Bryce Cinnaball, but a better animation for the hop step for you can time. Then it's Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is maybe one of my favorites. That's very similar to Devin Booker, which you gotta be 6'5" between 6'9" to use, which you gotta have a 77 mid-range or three-pointer. I definitely recommend y'all to try Jimmy Butler if you wanna be on your shot creator bag. Then Kevin Durant, you gotta be 6'5". You can have an 87 mid-range, which is one of the most used ones on the game. Kevin Durant is literally a top tier go-to shot in the game. Then we got Paolo Banchero, as you're gonna end up having a 79 mid-range or three-pointer to unlock, which you gotta be at least 6'10" to use, but you can get some crazy blow-bys off this as long as you combine this with the Pro 2 cross or Giannis cross. Now when it comes to the new ones I've been messing with, Reggie Jackson is one of those ones, especially if you like a lot of pro play type animations. I recommend you to try these at mid-range, but most of these is gonna be for smaller guards, but you have to have an 81 shooting rating to unlock. The same thing with Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis is a cool one. This is gonna go to your off-ball hand. He only has certain animations you'll notice that it will only be to the off ball and certain ones be only to the same ball hand. Then when it comes to Kyle Kuzma is literally a better version of the Luka Doncic one. If you want to be on a bigger build and you don't want to lose Luka, this creates more ankle breakers and creates more space. And for the small guards, we have De'Aaron Fox. Now De'Aaron Fox has a nice little side crossover step back animation. It's cool. You gotta have a 78 shooting rating to unlock this. And I prefer you to try this to your non-dominant hand, which you will get the crossover step back. Now the next one we have Davion Mitchell. For the small guards, you have to have a 61 shooting range to unlock this, and it's a cool one to have as he does a double crossover to a side step to a step back. And this one is very clean, especially if you want to be in your pro play bag. Now if you want to do that spin turnaround jumper that a lot of people you see in the clips and TikToks, these are the ones that they're going to be using when it comes to like the spin around jump shot from the other side of the court. Then you're gonna have Jalen Suggs. We know about Jalen Suggs since it's a patch 1 go-to shot. Nothing too crazy, but it's a very solid go-to shot to still use. Now when it comes to the hop jumpers, there's a lot of hop jumpers. Normal hop jumper is one of my favorite, which is no requirement. You can use it on any build. Then we're gonna end up having Devin Booker. Devin Booker hop jumper creates a lot of space. Gotta have an 86 shooting rating and be under 6'10". Then we got Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has a great snatchback animation off his ball hand side. But for his non-dominant hand, it is very stiff, so you gotta keep that in mind. Then we got Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry hop jumper is just money. I'm not gonna lie to you, you can get real glitchy if you learn how to use the Stephen Curry hop jumper, and I'm surprised a lot of guards don't use it. Then we got Zach LaVine. Now Zach LaVine is a great one for when it comes to step backs, even a side step for Zach LaVine. You gotta have an 83 shooting range to unlock and be under 6'10". Then DeMar DeRozan. If you like to work out at the mid-range, DeMar DeRozan hop jumper is what you want. You can really get in your bag. You gotta have an 82 shooting rating. The same thing when it comes to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is a cool one to use. It's different, and you can get some crazy ankle breakers. And if you haven't seen my Georgia Anthony Edwards build, make sure you go check that out because we was getting a lot of crazy ankle breakers. Then CJ McCollum. He has a crazy side step animation, which you only have a 79 shooting rating and be under 6'5". Then we got Jason Tatum. This is one of those ones that create space, but he does have a few animations that will get blocked. Dude, you just gotta know how to time it. The same thing with the James Harden. James Harden double step back. It's clean, but you just gotta know how to time it and know when to use it. The Jordan Clarkson has a few cool animations. You can use it on any build that's under 6'10". The same thing when it comes to using a Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole has a lot of shifty hop jumpers, but you have to be a small guard to use it and have a 76 shooting range to even use Jordan Poole animations, which he has an animation that will teleport you from the mid-range all the way to the 3-point line. With that overhaul of animations of go-to shots and hop jumpers on the spreadsheet, we're gonna get into the actual dribble moves. Now for my small guards all the way to my 6'9s, this is going to be the best dribble styles to use. For a small guard, we know Ja Morant is number 1, in which you need an 85 speed with ball. Zach LaVine is the top tier 1 use on this game. If you're on a bigger build that's 6'5 and up, definitely use Zach LaVine. All you need is a 75 speed with ball and be under 6'10". And with Zach LaVine, you can do a misdirection cross, will give you a crazy speed boost. Now, Darius Garland, you need a 91 speed with ball. I recommend you not even try this. I prefer you using Ja Morant over Darius Garland, which is, Ja Morant is still faster than Darius Garland, but it's still a good dribble style. Now, if you want something similar to whatever misdirection cross is, DeJounte Murray is one of those ones you want to try, which only requires you to have an 86 speed with ball. And the dribble style that's most recent, Zion Williamson. Now, Zion Williamson is one that's cool, especially if you want to build like a 6'9" or something, and you like a popper, and you don't really got a high ball control, but you got a decent speed with ball, 60 speed with ball, you can use Zion Williamson. Cool little blowout dribble and also a nice little misdirection. If you remember from 2K25, it wasn't the best, but it was solid. Now, when it comes to size ups with Stephen Curry, if you're in a small guard, Stephen Curry size up is a great size up to use, especially when it comes to end up flicking your stick to the top left or top right. Now, if you're in a bigger guard, Tracy McGrady, 6'5" all the way to 6'9", 85 ball handle to unlock this. Just know, this is one of my favorite ones to use. A lot of people don't like it. They would rather use Scoot Henderson, which you only need an 80 ball control. It's a few animations that you're really going to look for. It's the tween, or it's actually like the cross animations. The same thing with Trae Young. Trae Young has one of the best tween crosses to me as of a size up, and you need a 92 ball control and be under 6'5" to use this anyway. But for James Harden, his is a little bit shifty. He got a little bit swag to it. You want to be a little bit different and try to end up creating your own style, you can use James Harden, 86 ball handle, and you got to be under 6'10". Now, when it comes to the Pro is cool. Now, Pro is literally slept on. If you haven't tried it, 70 ball handle, I definitely recommend you to try if you don't like any of these other ones, because it's very solid. Now, recently one that was added from last season, Markelle Fultz. I definitely mess with the Markelle Fultz. It can switch to change your pace of your dribble, and you need to have an 80 ball control to use and be under 6'10". Now, I'm gonna end up getting into the most used animations, most used functions that you end up trying. It's the breakdown combo. A lot of people use it. Tracy McGrady is one that slept on. It's a cool little setup to end up getting past your defender, especially on a bigger build. You use Zach LaVine and get a crazy misdirection. But look, Jordan Poole, we already know Jordan Poole is one of the most used breakdown combos in the game ever since patch 1, which you only need to have an 80 ball control and use under 6'10". Then we got Devin Booker, which is the #1 breakdown combo in the game when it helps you get past defenders and even crab them, but you need to have at least an 85 ball handle to use this and be under 6'10". But if you want a breakdown combo, you can end up comboing it with, you can end up using Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant got a nice little tween animation, tween behind the back animation, and it only requires you to have a 70 ball control. It's just based on your play style. The same thing with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has a little pat animation, and he ends up taking off. It's a cooler animation. You gotta have 85 ball control, but it's better ones to end up using. SGA, you have the 84 ball control. It's a walk down animation. This is one of those ones I was telling you, walk down animations are very deadly if you know how to use them, especially if you know how to do the manual hop back. It kills a lot of defenders, especially off a misdirection cross to a hop back. Then we got Paul George, 75 ball handle, under 6'10". Paul George breakdown actually gets you past defenders on accident, which you could possibly end up crabbing the defender. And when it comes to the best escape moves, you know, for a small guard, Kemba Walker, 89 ball handle. You don't even have to have a 90, but 90 gets you handles for days. But a 89 ball handle, you get Kemba Walker. One of the top 5 escapes you can use on this game. Then we have Jimmy Butler. Now, if you're on a taller build, we know that you're using Jimmy Butler. If you're not using Jimmy Butler, you're using his friend right next to him, as you only gotta have a 70 ball control and be under 6'10". And the same thing goes for Paul George. With a 75 ball control, you're using Jimmy Butler, Paul George, or you could be using the one that takes a little bit more skill. You're gonna end up using that SGA. SGA requires you to have an 84 ball control, and you gotta end up knowing the functions to end up pulling off SGA, as this is the opposite ball hand, and then do the cross to end up getting a crazy shifty animation that will help you end up getting a blow by past your defender. Then we got Kevin Durant escape. Now, if you want to try something different, if you do the same thing, same function as you do for SGA, you can get a crab animation with Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant creates a lot of space. Then we got Kyrie Irving. Now, this is one of those ones that you have to really master to use. 90 ball handle, and it's for the small guards, and you can really cook up if you know what you're doing, and you got a deep bag. You really should definitely try this. Then we got James Harden, as this is one of those ones, like I told you, if you want to be a little bit different, try to change up your style of play and be different from everybody else. 86 ball handle, and you got to be under 6'10", and you can really cook up with this, especially if you know some good combo moves and connector animations. Then we got Trae Young. Trae Young is not slept on, but it's not the top one, but I do see people end up using Trae Young here and there, which you have to have a 92 ball control and be a small guard to even use this animation. Then we can't forget about the De'Aaron Fox that was recently added. De'Aaron Fox is one of those ones that's actually great, but you got to have an 89 ball control as well to use, and be under 6'5" to even equip. And I know we get into the next section for small guards and big guards, you're going to end up seeing combo moves and crossovers. Now, when it comes to the combo moves, it's not that many that I would pick between. As of Jason Tatum, it's one of those cool ones to try out. Gotta have a 75 ball control and be under 6'10". Zach LaVine is a cool one that's added of 85. You gotta be under 6'10" as well. As of doing this, you have to flick your right stick up coming up the court without R2, and that's how you activate these combo moves if you did not know. The same thing when it comes to Pro. Pro is one of my favorites. You get it at 70 ball control, and it literally is a fast animation. It pulls you forward, and it gets you past your defender. And then we got Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a recently one that's added. You gotta have an 85 ball control and be under 6'10", and it does have a nice little back and forth crossover. Now, when it comes to actual crossovers, we know Lonzo Ball is one of the top crossovers in this game, and you gotta have an 80 ball control to use. And if you're a starter for, De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox for the small guards is crazy. It's literally still one of the best crossovers after you end up hitting starter 4. This is one of those ones that you definitely want to try out if you're starter 4. Then if you want something similar, you could use Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the closest thing you're going to get to a De'Aaron Fox if you're not a starter 4. And you got to have an 80 ball control. And you can use this on multiple heights of builds of all the way up to 6'9". Anthony Edwards is one of those ones that's very fast, but you also can do a double crossover out of it, and you gotta have a 76 ball handle unlocked. But with a few of these crossovers, you just gotta know how to time it. You can't just flick it. But with Luka is a great crossover to use. 84 ball handle, it has a nice little wrap cross, but Devin Booker is very similar. One requires 84, one requires 85, but they are very similar. For one of them default crossovers, Pro crossover is not that bad, especially if you know how to do the tween. All you need is have a 70 ball control, and you can use this on every build on the game as long as you got a 70 ball control. Now, LaMelo, this is one of those ones that's kind of slept on. It's a mixture of Luka and Devin Booker, but he has a harder crossover. And as you see, you need a 91 ball handle to even unlock it. Then we got Josh Giddey. Now, if you're more on the downhill end, this is a cool one to use, but you need to have a 76 ball handle to end up using, but also be under 6'10". This definitely helps you get past your defender and get to that rim. That's what you're trying to look for. And for the next dribble move, we have behind the backs. Now, behind the backs is maybe the most used animation in the game with escape moves, but SGA escape is one of my favorites. 84 ball handle, you can use all the way until you like 6'10", but I would say basically 6'8", because a 6'9" can't get it. Then we're gonna end up having DeMar DeRozan. This is a cool one to have. It's a cool when it comes to the standing behind the back and the moving behind the back. And you can really combo it, really having the most realistic standing behind the back animation. Then we have Stephen Curry. As you know, for the Curry slide, this is mostly going to be for the small guards. You got to have a 92 ball control to use, and you can end up cooking defenders off this. The same thing when it comes to Trae Young. Trae Young and Curry has the similar behind the back, but Trae Young doesn't have the slide. He got the wrap around his back, which you need a 92 ball control to use. But as of his aggressive behind the back, it's cool. Kobe White, a lot of people who still using Kobe White, this move is predictable. Now, if you want to use it, it's up to you. 85 ball control, be under 6'10", but most of the time you play a good player, they're going to steal it from you. Then we got Scottie Pippen. You can use Scottie Pippen as a transition behind the back. This is not going to be for stationary. This is not going to be trying to do a tween. You have to use this only going up the court. I do not recommend you to use that unless it's up coming up the court. But Kawhi Leonard, a great behind the back that was added recently in the past few seasons. Definitely good behind the back for stationary, as you get somewhat like a Jamal Murray animation from 2K25. And all you need is an 80 ball control. Then we got Pro behind the back. Now, Pro behind the back is nothing too crazy, but it has a great explosive behind the back and a great movement and transition behind the back as you're going downhill. Then when it comes to the spins, you know when it comes to spins, it's only a few spins I like, and these spins are mostly going to be the old 2K spins of Pro spins, Pro 4 spins, Steve Nash, Penny Hardaway. You're gonna look for that one spin right there that almost every animation can get, but it's only a few that doesn't get it, as a DeMar DeRozan is one, Penny Hardaway, Steve Nash. All it is just based on the ratings and based on if the wide spins. The thing with Jimmy Butler, this is the only one that gets the actual spin back animation, but it's a slower spin back animation, but you gotta have a 70 ball control unlocked, which is still a good transition spin move. Now, when it comes to the next section of dribble moves, we're gonna have hesitation. Now, if y'all don't know, hesitation dictates if you're gonna do a clean momentum. If you don't know how to momentum, hey man, go hop in the lab, go watch a YouTube tutorial. But for Jason Tatum, you get a clean momentum, 75 ball handle, under 6'10", and you can end up getting a decent crab. But if you wanna be, you know what I'm saying, crabbing people left and right, Kobe White. Kobe White requires an 85 ball handle. You can use it on any build that's under 6'10". Really, any build that's under 6'8" with an 85 ball handle can use this. Then we got Jalen Brunson. This is going to be used on the small guards. The same thing with the Kobe Whites. You got to have at least a 90 ball control to use it, but this is going to be really only for the small guards. You can't get it on a bigger guard or a bigger build. Then we got Kevin Durant, which has a great hesitation, but also if you have an 85 ball control, even though it's a 70 requirement, you get a clean momentum with it. That's one thing as well. You got to have an 85 ball control to get a clean momentum, unless you got ball handling attributes inside your takeover to help you get to the 85, so you can be able to do that even with the walk back. And then we got the John Morant, 86 ball handle. It's more of a retreat animation. It's cool, but it's a hit or miss based on what type of playstyle you are. And then we got normal. You can't really go wrong with normal. It's a cool little setup. You can momentum good with this, especially you got an 85 ball control. But if you just want a nice little hesitation, use normal. Then we come to the step backs. Now, there's going to be a lot of step backs, and the number one used step back in the game, y'all all know, Devin Booker. 85 ball handle. Any build that's at 6'8" and under can use this Devin Booker step back. But if you don't get that and you got a 70 ball control, Vince Carter is the second up next. Now, if you don't like how Vince Carter looks, there's still another option out there that you can end up putting together. Now, look, if you want to end up trying something different, I've been messing around with the Curry actual step back. It's gonna take you some time to get used to, but it's a cool little like setup animation. Now, if you're looking trying to score off of it, it's here and there that you can score off of it, but it's not as consistent as like a Devin Booker step back. And then we got Jason Tatum. Now, I used this in my Jason Tatum video. It's a cool one to use, but it's just based on how you wanna move around and how your play style is. Now, Kyrie Irving, if you wanna do the 2K25 snatchback, you're gonna end up having a 90 ball control, and you only can use this under 6'5". Now, with James Harden, this is the one you see on KD and Play Now, or even my team. This is the James Harden step back, as you need an 86 ball control and be under 6'10". It does create space, but the thing is having a jump shot that's fast enough to shoot off the dribble with it. Now, then we're gonna got Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is just gonna be for the smaller guards with a 90 ball control. It's cool, but you got a lot of better options, but it's just an option as if you wanna be different. And if you don't like Vince Carter, like I told you, you can always use Pro step back, 70 ball control. You can use this on any build from 5'9" all the way to a 7 foot for a step back like this. Now we're gonna be on my bigger builds. Now my 6'10s all the way to 7'4". These are all the animations that you can use to make you a better scorer or a better dribbler or get open. As of dribble styles, you do not have that many options. Zion Williamson is a newer one that came out. If you got a 60 speed with ball, you can use Zion Williamson. This is one that got a nice little misdirection, but just know if you want a decent speed boost animation, you have to wait out the whole animation, then run. Don't instantly try to go. Then we got Giannis Antetokounmpo. A lot of you guys are using Giannis Antetokounmpo, which you only need a 55 speed with ball. Great blowout dribble. You can end up getting some decent animations. The same thing with normal and pro. If you don't really got those high ratings, you can use normal, but if you got at least a 70, you can get pro, and pro is not that bad, but I still would recommend you to use Zion or even try Giannis first. For size ups, you're not gonna have that many options. We already know this. Kevin Durant, 70 ball control. If you get a 70 ball control, try Kevin Durant, but you got Ben Simmons if you got a 65. I prefer you to try Ben Simmons and Giannis. Ben Simmons is cool. That's one of those ones I like more, but Giannis is one of those ones that's up there. It's a top 3 one to me, so definitely try out Giannis. But Pro is still cool if you got that 70 ball control, but if you don't got a 70 ball control, Giannis, Ben Simmons are going to be your main 2 ones to end up using. That's why it's very important to have a 65 ball handle on this game for a bigger build. Then when it comes to breaking out combos, you're only going to have a small selection of 3. You can use Kevin Durant, which if you want to get a little combo up and you want to get in your bag a little and try to show out, that's what you use. Or you can use Pro. but you require to have a 70 ball control, or you can just keep it on normal. When it comes to the escapes, you can use normal escape. This is one of the ones that a lot of bigger builds are going to end up using because they can't get Kevin Durant. And if you can get Kevin Durant, definitely recommend you to put it on. But if you're one of the bigger builds like 6'10", 6'11", and even 7 foot that get a 70 ball control, try Pro. I definitely say try Pro. Pro is one of those ones, and Kevin Durant. Those are going to be the top 2 ones to use when it comes to escapes for bigger builds. And once you learn how to crab with the Kevin Durant actual escape, you will be unstoppable. Then we got the best crossovers. If you're not a starter forward, you can't get Giannis, but you need a 65 ball handle to unlock Giannis and be at least 6'10". Now, when it comes to the next one, you can use normal. Normal is not bad as long as you know how to hit the swing crossover. Then a regular crossover, you'll be able to get past defenders. And for your last choice, you have basic, but I prefer you to try to use pro or normal or Giannis before that if you have it. Then we got combo moves. Most of the time, you're not going to be doing combo moves down the court. And if you are, if you're on a 6'10" and 6'11", even 7 foot, you can use pro. Pro is the best one to me. Any other ones is kind of pointless, but pro is definitely one of the best ones. Now, when it comes to the behind the backs, there's only slim options. You got normal behind the back, 40 ball control. You get a nice explosive behind the back. That's one thing. But the other one, you could use pro or you use KD. But most of the time, I would just say keep it between pro or normal. If you want to come up the court and get transition behind the back, pro. But when it comes to the spin moves, now Kevin Durant is up there. I did use Kevin Durant for most majority of my time actually being on 6'10s or even 7 foot builds with a 70 ball control, or you could just use normal, as normal gets the spin back that I like. If you want to do the retreat spin back, this is the one that you will end up liking and one you'll go for. Then we got hesitations. KD hesitation, like I told you, you got the 70 ball control. KD hesitation is cool, and he gets a nice little downhill movement hesitation that help you get past defenders. But any other ones, I would say normal, pro, basic. Mostly I would say normal and pro, but KD get the job done, especially if you got a 70 ball control or normal. Step backs, there's not that many options, but you only have about 2 to 3 options, and pro is one of the best ones if you have a 70 ball control. If you don't have a 70 ball handle, 70 ball control, pro is literally one of the best ones you can get. You will have to go with Joel Embiid, which requires a 55 ball handle. If you can't get Joel Embiid, there's still another option of using basic. I think basic is very similar to Joel Embiid. But if you got a last option, normal. That's literally your last option when it comes to a step back for a big man. I would say pro and Joel Embiid will be your top 2, or you could end up trying out Giannis Antetokounmpo. Hopefully with all the information I gave y'all and showed y'all today, I hope you become better dribblers and help y'all get open, especially when it comes to the new dribble moves that were released this season. Hey man, make sure y'all boys drop a like, make sure y'all boys subscribe if y'all haven't yet, and you got any dribble moves that you recommend for me to test out, make sure you drop them down below in the comment section, and if you haven't yet, check out the videos on the screen, man.